Hello, my darlings. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm so happy that you're here. I am your favorite mermaid mystic. I hope that you are doing well. Having my cup of tea after the evening and everything is settled in. Today's video, I really wanted to talk just a few moments. I wanted to nip in, and so I'll just plunge right in. I wanted to talk about how important self-concept and the power of trusting our mermaid inner being is so important when it pertains to manifesting. And the reason that those were my spectacles. The reason that I want to talk about this is because I know that how it's very obvious that on many outlets of social media that really find this sort of locomotive, and they bang on about something for days, and like how this is the new technique that you should really incorporate into your manifestations, objectives for creating the life that you love. I can really understand this state of affairs, because what happens when someone is in this mindset of wanting to manifest, I'm specifically focusing on when people want to affirm, and how much that is going against the nature of, or the essence of who we are as landlocked mermaids. There's two things that I want to focus on. One is, yes, it is lovely and wonderful to affirm. However, there's some people in their teachings that they say that's not true. You don't need to have a positive self-concept, or you don't need to be in the correct frequency or vibrational frequency of all happiness and lovely things and all of that when you're manifesting, okay? Now, the reason that I'm going to tell you that that is absolutely not true, that these people that do say that this is how manifesting works, actually they've not done manifesting. They don't understand Neville's law really intently, really deeply. They have a narrative of what's worked for them, but I can nearly guarantee you that when you use force, when you're trying to make something happen, it is against nature. It's against the laws of the universe, okay? Now, compulsion, which is that word, when you're affirming, you have that frequency going on, that vibrational frequency within you. If you are in a state of compulsion, which means that constraint, if you're wanting and forcing something to happen, right? Which is what you're doing if you are not in the correct frequency of when you are affirming. Affirming is beautiful and it is wonderful and it works very well. Perfection. It works with perfection. However, it is instrumental and paramount that when you are manifesting, loves, to have that kind of happiness and daydream and euphoria. Okay, because that's the same way as when you're daydreaming, you're following the flow of the essence of bliss. You're following your bliss when you're doing that. You're not in that state of, this is why I very much talk all the time, darlings, about the balancing and equalizing your nervous system. Because when your nervous system is out of whack, you can and you will manifest. That's not to say it's not going to happen. You absolutely will. If your mind can do anything, right? Your mind could literally make yourself ill. Your mind can heal itself. You can manifest. But what happens when you manifest under compulsion is that it will not sustain itself. It might sustain itself for a little while, but if you do it and it's not in the right vibrational frequency, it will revert. It has to rebound. It has to revert back, because what you've done is you've manifested by compulsion. You have done it by force. And we all know that the universe abhors a vacuum. So it will rush in to fill the void. But that does not mean that when it's filling the void, you're also going to get that frequency of those things. So for an example, And when you do things that are of force, because force is not good. Do you understand? And that doesn't mean in a morality sense. It means that when you force something, you're going against the nature of the laws of the universe. You're going against the natural essence of something, right? Say, for example, we needed milk, cow's milk, okay? And you force a cow to produce massive amounts of milk that, because we need the supply, right? Say, for example, you do that. Like, I live on a farm, so you force a cow to put it up to a machine, and it's like, it has to, I mean, like nonstop. And it's not natural for that cow to produce as much milk as you're expecting for an entire like community instead of just like a household, right? What happens is, yes, the cow will produce the milk, but guess what happens over time, and it won't take very long for this to happen, is that the cow's milk will not be as good. It will cause the animal to become old and not capable of supplying the milk as long, okay? Because you're going against nature. It's not natural for people to do that. And then what happens is, because you start giving them hormones, because say, for example, you're like, I need to put these on them on the milk machine, so I have to give them hormones. I have to give them all of these things to like jack the cow up so that it will produce massive amounts of, hormones, so that it will produce. Well, you're going to get that, but it's not going to be as good. I can promise you. That might not be a good example. I've got other examples. So, for example, I know of someone that was hell-bent, pardon my English, but hell-bent on manifesting massive amounts of money, because she was in a state of affairs where she needed money, and she needed money fast because they were plummeting. They could not keep a roof over their head. It was very difficult for them. So when she learns about law of attraction or law of assumption with Neville Goddard, she begins to manifest, money. I need money. Well, guess what? She did end up manifesting the money, but guess what happened not even 3 years down the road? It lasted for quite a while. But what happened with this particular person is she became extremely desperate because manifested it under compulsion, under force, okay? Because she was compulsive about this affirm. And what happened was she got her manifestation. But guess what happened? 3 years down the road, she is doing all kinds of things that are not completely genuine. Let's just say it's a little bit dodgy, okay? Because she had to resort to these matters. And I've seen this happen with like people that are coaches, or they're trying to, then they want to teach little seminars, then they want to say, okay, you can do this on a Discord, okay, do you want to join this group, okay, then you can do this. And the reason, I'm not saying that you should not expand your business, but what I'm telling you is, when people do things under compulsion, they are realizing, maybe they're not realizing, but I'm here to tell you that this is what's happening. When you go against nature because you do not trust, because the essence of how much you trust your inner being is how much you trust the universe, or many people grew up believing in a God outside of themselves. So therefore, they have taken that personality of believing what they still believe about the God, which is not true, but they've never changed that internal self-concept about what they believe about who the external forces are. And it's not forces, but the external nature of collective consciousness, God, the universe, this great creator, which I like to call the great creator, because universe sounds a little too scientific to me. I'm not really a fan of it. It's a little bit, daft. I don't really like it too much. So I like great creator, because so many people get, turned off or a little bit, about the fact that, like, if you were to use God and stuff, if you use God, because God to them has a different meaning. This is what causes so many problems in the world, because of communication skills, right? And people believe that manifesting is really still a form of praying, and it's actually in the Bible, the King James Bible, 78, 79 times. And prayer is also there. But because people have associated manifest, although it's in the Bible, with law of attraction and the woohoo and all that scientific, they find it a little bit off-putting, okay? But I want you to understand that we don't need to be in a hurry. And I understand this completely, because I know that there's so many people that are into the law of assumption and law of attraction. And if you don't know loads about it, you're very you take it on, and you're sort of have you ever seen when Christians get all involved in, for example, because I used to be in religion deeply, and so when you would see someone get saved, or people would join the church, the Latter-day Saints church, right, because I was in two separate religions, that they get they're hell-bent. They're so enthusiastic about, they want to convert everyone because they think they found the light, which is understandable. And this is what a lot of times people do with the law of assumption, because they're like, oh my God, I'm manifested, and now look how wonderful my life is. But then what they do is they have never changed that self-concept deep within them. They still don't have that deep knowing of the collective, the God consciousness, the great creator, spirit, the universe loves and adores that person, loves and adores me. So it would never lead me astray. It would always fulfill my need at every moment. At every moment it fulfills my need. But if you have trust issues, which is paramount for a self-concept, because that is the beauty and the secret. This is the mermaid, one of the mermaid secrets of manifesting, is that you must trust. You must trust the process. You must trust the great creator, because we are in human form. So there's a limited version of, although the great creator is all-knowing, source is all-knowing, but because we have been shielded with the veil, because we are of human form, we do not understand all of the entire view, right? Everything that has been in our vortex, or I like to call our whirlpool, which means all of the little things that little Raquel as a little girl wanted. The great creator is putting all of that into my lovely manifestations, and I trust the process. We must trust the process, because I don't want you to go down the currents of manifesting these lovely things. Now, that does not mean, I want to make sure that you understand, when I say that, that does not mean that I'm telling you not to affirm or not to be excited. I want you, this is a beautiful quote, put this on your icebox. I want you to remember that I am satisfied with now, but eager for more. Okay, that's an Abraham Hicks quote, and I really love it, and it is on my icebox here in the cottage. And it reminds you that it's beautiful to affirm, but remember, I want you to lure. I want you to think about an affirmation like you do when you are thinking of something, like when you daydream. You're not in a rush. It's kind of like pretend you're on vacation. Pretend you're on a beach and you're sipping pina coladas, or you're having a Diet Coke or a martini, or whatever you choose to have, right? Glass of wine or something, and you're having a lovely, you're having a nice day at the beach, you live at the lakeside, and the sun's going down, and SP is going to light the fire pit, and you're going to grill the fish that y'all were on the boat that day, or on the yacht, whatever it is, and you're going to have a fish fry because you live right on the ocean front. And do you realize just now, how did that feel? Do that for 17 seconds. Do you understand? 17 seconds of affirming, because that's basically what an affirmation is 17 seconds in the vortex, okay, is equivalent to 2,000 working human hours. Okay, do you understand the difference in that? Can you imagine what 68 seconds would do for you? Or 2 minutes? Doing what I just did? I already felt like I lived on the beach somewhere. Like, oh my goodness, where's Jeffrey Sean? Is he coming out to light the fire pit? And I'm telling you, if you keep in that momentum and you just, it's like caressing it, because remember what I talked about is that the subconscious mind is the female, okay? The male version is the conscious mind. Now in this Bible where it talks about man and woman, right? Cleave to one another and all of that, that is talking about mindset. That's talking about the subconscious and the conscious mind. So what does a woman, which is the subconscious, because that controls everything, 90% of your everyday life, okay? Only 10% is conscious, which is the male aspect, okay? What does a woman love? Well, a woman loves, I'll tell you, and like myself, we love to be talked to and whisper sweet nothings, and you're so beautiful, and oh my goodness, this is so lovely. Raquel, you cook so wonderful. Oh, just everything that you make, you touch is so beautiful and wonderful. You have so many talents. You are so creative. You have pretty brown eyes, and I love your freckles and your red hair and all of that. You like to be cajoled and lured in. A woman loves to be seduced. That's kind of what you're doing to your mind. Let me tell you what happens. Putty in your hands is what it is. It's like a mermaid's seduction, okay, to the subconscious mind. That is one of the secrets in the sand that a mermaid knows, okay? So I want you to remember that. If you feel like you need to affirm, remember, I want you to focus on your balancing your nervous system. This is so important, okay? Remember that pretend that you are speaking mermaidology like I teach. Mermaidology is you must have a wonderful, wonderful, calm nervous system. Because what happens when you feel terrible and you're trying to affirm something? I can be the first to tell you that you feel agitated, irritable, like stressed, like this has to happen. And what happens? Get frustrated, you feel like it doesn't work, and you're like, this is bloody ridiculous, it's absolutely bonkers, it doesn't work, I don't like it, this is terrible, I hate manifestation. And you get blooming pissed off, because it's like, this is, oh, piss off, this doesn't work, that manifestation coach is stupid, I don't like them, they don't know what they're talking about. This is why, because loads of times, my darlings, they just want your money. I hate to keep reiterating that, but it's very, very true. And so just pretend I'm your grandmummy, mermaid mystic, because I'm here to tell you that I want to help you to realize that you lead yourself back to the waters, okay? That you have all of the answers in your little mermaid purse, okay? You've got all the answers in your mermaid inner being. All of the things that you need to manifest everything that you want in life, you've got it already. It's within you. It's within you. And I'm going to help you through different steps and videos as we progress for you to recognize those within yourself. But I'm very adamant on telling you that I'm not going to give you just a let's fix it right now, because I want you to sustain the things in your life. I want it to be a lifestyle, not just this quick fix. Because everyone wants a quick fix, don't they? Yeah, and it doesn't work long term. We know this. Does not work long term. I mean, listen, prime example is how much I wanted to marry my ex-husband. And I was hell-bent on marrying him, even although my mom told me, oh, you'll be over him, when he goes on that mission, and oh, I don't think it's the right thing. And there was so many red flags, blue flags, green flags. There was so many flags, okay, loves? But I wanted to prove my mom wrong because she kept telling me that that I would forget him, and no, you don't need to marry him. He's not the right choice for you. And I was hell-bent on doing exactly what I wanted. And although everything always turns out, there's always a silver lining, darlings, that it was a very long, arduous road being married to him. It taught me loads, because now I can teach you, being in a narcissist relationship, a very abusive, psychologically just disempowering and all of that. So it actually turned out like there's always, like, the great creator always turns negative into positive. That's how it works. That's the law. It's the universal law. And so, but I wouldn't want to come back and do that again. We're at school. We're mermaids here at school, right? And I don't want you little fishies to have to do all of this again. We don't want to come back and keep repeating this, because if we don't get it here and we decide that we're going to say, I'm not doing that, and oh, I learned my lesson, you know, I want you to learn your lesson, you know, in a loving, gentle way, not in a, you're going to learn your lesson. This is the problem. Everyone thinks everything has to be negative. It all can be wonderfully positive, and I want you to always take joy. That is my motto. Take joy. I don't care what it is, we're going to take joy. This is our motto, okay? All right, I hope that this was something that derived benefit for you. And as always, I'm most affably yours. Till my next swim. Cheers, darlings. Toodle pip.